September 11th, 2001, a date that will forever be etched into the annals of history. The day that saw the catastrophic destruction of the Twin Towers and the Pentagon as terrorists hijacked airplanes and turned them into lethal weapons. An act of terror that sent shockwaves across the globe, altering the course of history. The official narrative tells us that this was an orchestrated move by Al-Qaeda, but there are those who argue otherwise. Enter the world of the 9/11 Truth Movement, a collective of individuals and organizations who question the mainstream version of events. Born from the ashes of that fateful day, they bring to the table a myriad of alternate theories, each one more provocative and controversial than the last. From planned demolitions to missiles striking the Pentagon, the theories are as diverse as they are fascinating. Each theory, far from being mere sensationalism, is supported by what its advocates deem compelling evidence that challenges the official narrative. It encourages people to reevaluate their understanding of the events. As we delve into these theories today, we'll critically analyze the evidence that backs them up. So, buckle up and hold on tight as we embark on an exploration through the cryptic universe of the 9/11 Truth Movement. Prepare for a journey that will not just captivate but also enlighten. It's a voyage that will stimulate your intellect, challenge your perspectives, and hopefully make you question the version of the truth you've been told. Armed with an open mind and a thirst for truth, let's plunge into the most popular conspiracy theories about the 9/11 attacks. One of the most widely known theories is the controlled demolition theory. This theory challenges the official narrative surrounding the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. The central argument is that the Twin Towers, along with Building 7, did not collapse solely due to the impact of the planes and the ensuing fires. Instead, proponents posit that a meticulously planned explosion was the true cause, a conclusion that has fueled myriad debates and led to numerous investigations. Supporters of the controlled demolition theory underscore several pieces of evidence that they believe lend credence to their argument. To begin with, they focus on the astonishing speed at which the Twin Towers collapsed. The buildings fell in under 12 seconds, a rate nearly akin freefall speed. This rapid descent, they argue, could only have been achievable through a carefully coordinated demolition. Similarly, Building 7, which was not hit by any aircraft, collapsed in a comparable manner several hours later. The symmetry of the collapses is another aspect that raises suspicion. Conventionally, buildings experiencing structural failure tend to topple or lean to a side. However, both the Twin Towers and Building 7 fell straight down. This, according to proponents, indicates that the building's supports were systematically obliterated from the bottom up, a technique characteristic of controlled demolitions. The controlled demolition theory cites the presence of molten metal at ground zero as significant evidence. A multitude of witnesses, including first responders and construction workers, reported seeing rivers of molten steel flowing beneath the debris even weeks after the collapse. The temperatures needed to melt steel are not typically achieved in ordinary building fires, thus leading to speculation the use of explosives. Further bolstering this theory are several reports and studies that have surfaced over the years. For example, a peer-reviewed paper published in 2009 in the Open Chemical Physics Journal claimed to have found traces of nanothermite, a high-tech explosive, in the dust from the World Trade Center. Despite the intriguing constituents of the controlled demolition theory, it is crucial to understand that it is still a theory. It raises compelling questions that merit further exploration, but it remains an interpretation of the tragic events that transpired on September 11th. It is not the sole theory attempting to explain the circumstances, but one amongst several others. But the controlled demolition theory isn't the only one out there. Another theory that has gained traction is the Pentagon missile theory. This theory in particular has caught the attention of conspiracy theorists, experts, and the general public alike. The crux of this hypothesis is unexpected. It proposes that the destructive incident at the Pentagon was not the result of American Airlines Flight 77 crashing into the building, but rather the impact of a missile. Yes, you heard it right, a missile. The idea may seem far-fetched to some, but it has stirred up considerable debate and controversy since its inception. A key point that fuels this theory is centered around the size of the impact hole in the Pentagon's facade. Upon the arrival of first responders and eyewitnesses at the catastrophic scene, it was reported that the hole left by the impact was approximately 20 feet wide. This measurement is significantly smaller than the damage a Boeing, which is what Flight 77 was, would typically cause. Supporters of this theory argue that the scale of the damage aligns more accurately with the impact of a missile, rather than a commercial airplane. The lack of large aircraft debris at the crash site further strengthens their argument. Normally, when a plane crashes, it leaves behind a considerable amount of wreckage. But according to various reports and eyewitness accounts, the Pentagon site was unsettlingly devoid of large identifiable aircraft debris. Questions arose. Where were the wings, the tail, or the engines that should have been scattered around the crash site? Adding a layer of mystery to this theory is the surveillance footage from the Pentagon. Known as one of the most secure structures in the world, the Pentagon is under the watchful eyes of countless surveillance cameras. Yet the only evidence released to the public is a sparse selection of grainy frames that fall short of conclusively showing could it be possible that these frames have captured the true culprit, a missile. However, like all theories, the Pentagon missile theory has faced criticism. Skeptics argue that the size of the hole can be attributed to the plane's velocity and angle of impact. They also suggest that the lack of debris could be due to the raging inferno that ensued the crash, effectively incinerating large parts of the aircraft. They also contend that the quality of the surveillance footage is poor due to the limitations of the technology available in 2001. These theories certainly make you think, don't they? The insider trading theory is a subject that has attracted attention. This premise suggests someone with prior knowledge of the attacks utilized this info for personal gain via the stock market. A worrisome supposition, wouldn't you agree? Proponents of this theory pinpoint a peculiar surge in stock market activity just before the attacks. The stocks raising suspicion were of American Airlines and United Airlines, the carriers whose aircraft were hijacked in the attacks. In the days leading up to September 11th, the quantity of put options, essentially wagers that a stock's price will plummet, placed on these two airlines, saw an unusual increase. This strange trading activity wasn't confined to these airlines alone. There were also suspicious surges in put options for companies affected by the attacks, notably insurance firms and financial services companies. So, was this sheer coincidence or indicative of insider trading? The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, began an investigation into this controversy. The outcome? They didn't find concrete evidence of insider trading. They hypothesized the strange trading activity could be attributed to a variety of factors, not necessarily foreknowledge of the impending attacks. Regardless, skeptics remain unconvinced by the SEC's findings. They contend that the SEC's investigation lacked depth and didn't sufficiently decipher the unusual trading patterns. They also point out that the SEC didn't disclose all its data and findings, which has led to allegations of a cover-up. Proving trading is a notoriously difficult task. It involves tracing trades back to the individual or individuals who placed them and then proving that they had advanced knowledge of the attacks. Considering the intricacy of this endeavor, it's perhaps no shock that the SEC's investigation failed to produce definitive results. These theories all share one common characteristic. They question the official story of 9/11. Whether you accept them or not, they certainly make for a fascinating delve into one of the most devastating events in recent history. So, what's the truth? We may never know for sure. We've explored the mysterious realms of the 9/11's truth movement, sifting through multiple theories that dare to question the conventional accounts of that calamitous day. We've looked into several intriguing perspectives. A leading one among these is the controlled demolition theory. This proposal argues that the Twin Towers and Building 7 did not just crumble due to the impact of the hijacked planes, but were systematically brought down by a planned explosion. This argument has given rise to key questions about the uniform speed and symmetry of the collapses, the orderly nature of the wreckage, and the strange discovery of molten steel and in the rubble. Then we considered the Pentagon missile theory, proposing that the Pentagon was the target of a missile strike, not American Airlines Flight 77. Proponents of this theory point towards evidences such as the size of the hole left behind, the absence of significant aircraft debris, and the daunting complexity of maneuvering a Boeing 757 into the Pentagon. We also came across the insider trading theory, which implies that undisclosed individuals may have had prior knowledge of the impending attacks. This theory is bolstered by unusual trading activity and put options on companies that were negatively impacted by 9/11, observed in the days preceding the tragedy. These theories have influenced public perception of 9/11, sparking skepticism, mistrust, and a call for undeniable transparency and accountability from the authorities. They've been pivotal in shaping the government's response as well, culminating in the formation of the 9/11 Commission and compelling the government to declassify associated documents. Regardless of these actions, the truth movement remains far from satisfied. They are resolute in their belief that the complete truth is still shrouded in uncertainty. They persist in their examination of every facet, every discrepancy, every oddity linked to 9/11, relentlessly pursuing answers. But there's one certainty amidst all these doubts. The 9/11 truth movement continues to question, probe, and seek the truth, whatever it may be.